All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Illumen. Today, we are joined with a very special guest. His name is Mr. Greg Senat. Mr. Gregory here, our newest real estate agent over at Corcoran Infinity Properties, and NFL athlete, offensive lineman for several NFL teams. I don't think I can remember the list, but Greg, you tell us.
Yeah, so I played I got drafted by the Ravens in 2018. Then I played for the Chiefs my second year. Then after the Chiefs, I was with the Browns. Then I went to the Cowboys. Then I went back to the Browns for a period of time. Then I went to the Colts, and then last I was with the Jets.
It's quite the career.
Yeah, I've been everywhere.
I want to start with the origin of it all.
Okay.
You used to play basketball.
Yes.
So it wasn't even about football.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Let's start with the basketball.
Oh, well, if we're going to start at the beginning.
Let's start at the beginning.
We got to start at the beginning.
Genesis, bro.
Genesis, okay.
Yeah.
I was born in Queens, New York, Jamaica,
Okay.
Queens to be exact.
Yep.
Both my parents are Haitian American immigrants, so they moved over here before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, English was my second language.
Oh, really?
Haitian Creole I was born here, but my parents being immigrants, they only spoke French and Haitian Creole. So that was like, I went to school.
You spoke that at home.
Yeah.
English,
English you learn in school. So yeah, I grew up I was born in Jamaica, Queens, and then moved to a town called Elmont, Long Island, when I was 5. And that's kind of where I grew up a majority of my life. But I was never always an athlete. I was like a softer kid. I was always a bigger kid. I always stuck out, So I just kind of like did my own thing. I was into cartoons, Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, I like to tell this story, the first time I ever played sports was 5th grade.
Okay.
Before that, I was that kid catching butterflies and categorizing them.
Okay.
Weird, I know.
Hey.
But one day my mom was just tired of me being lazy around the house. And she had gotten the Penny Saver, which is a little magazine that would go around. And it said Bulldogs, Elmont Bulldog tryouts. And my mom just said, we're going one evening. And she took me there. I had no basketball shoes. I remember I had this polo, I had jorts and Skechers, and I just went to the practice and she just threw me in there. And with all these kids from my school, my elementary school, that they've been playing basketball. They were the cool kids in the school, and it's just me, my big behind bumbling around first day.
Yeah.
And I remember being so pissed. I'm I don't want to be here. I couldn't dribble, I couldn't do anything.
Right.
But I was my mom, she's not gonna keep up with this. This is just
Just
this is
stick
a
it out a
moment.
couple days.
Next thing you know, the coach of the team is actually Haitian as well.
Oh.
So now they're just having conversation. They're connecting. I'm damn, I'm stuck.
I gotta get good.
I got not even. It was more so damn, now I have to come every week for practice. But I'm glad she did that because that was the beginning, and I eventually fell in love with basketball and obsessed with it. Would work out all the time, just trying to become a better basketball player. This whole story, I don't know if you have time for the whole story, but the story, it
Dude,
all
we're
connects.
here as long as the story needs to be.
As long as the story needs to be.
So it's up to you. You can make it long story long, short story short, whatever you want.
I'll hit the highlights, right? So I was never the best athlete. It took me a very long time to be even decent at basketball. But the turning point for me was my junior year. Life started to get serious, and it was to the point it's I'm going to be in college in a couple of years. If I don't get a scholarship, my parents can't afford college.
Right.
So a distinct thing I remember is just the end of my junior year, that summer, I committed my entire life to basketball. I didn't hang out with any friends. I was eating clean. I was taking an hour-long train ride from Elmont out to Suffolk County, Long Island every day just to go train with my AAU coach at the time out in this park, just hot, just grinding it away. Mind you, I had no scholarship offers.
You were just on a mission, dedicated.
I was on a dedicated, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. I know my parents' situation. It's this was the first realization where I have to take control of my life. So I was just grinding the entire summer. And playing, AAU, you travel and you're playing in front of these coaches. And I just wasn't getting offers. But I never stopped working. But I distinctly remember it was the last, they call it live period of AAU, which is the last time college coaches could come watch you play. And my AAU coach had signed me up for this thing called the Hoop Group Camp out in Reading, Pennsylvania. It's a 3-day camp, sleepaway camp, and all you do, you get paired off on teams, and for 3 days straight, you're just playing games in front of college coaches. And my AU coach, Navarro Allen, love the dude to this day. He paid for me to go. He picked me up at 6 a.m. He drove me down to Pennsylvania, and I got to this camp, and like that's when it all clicked, right? Like that's when all the hard work I'd been putting in clicked, and I just started playing the way I knew I could play. And like at the end of it, I was like on the top. They had like a top 21 team.
Yeah.
Like the camp has like 1,000 kids, and they picked the 21 best players.
Right.
And at the end of the camp, you play an all-star game. And like last day, they're like, "Yeah, Greg, you're on the team."
Wow.
I'm like, "What, me?" He's like, "Yeah, you made the top 21 team." So I'm playing out there with guys going to St. John's, going to Oklahoma, going to Syracuse, and like in the moment, you're not realizing it because life is just moving fast.
Yeah.
But hindsight is like, man, I can't believe like I did that. But for me, that was like the first time in my life where I really understood what hard work was, right? And how hard work can get you where you wanted to go, just with a little bit of dedication, a little bit of focus. And I mean, for me, that's like, you know, we all have like focal points of our life where you felt like something changed. That for me was a moment where something changed. Fast forward, like not knowing, my coach that signed me up, he actually signed me up for the grade class under. I was class of 2012. He signed me under class of 2013. So I was like in the wrong age class. But he did that, looking back, hindsight's 2020, because I don't know if you know about reclassification.
For like being aged.
Yeah, like
within
in
groups.
sports,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
So like, it's a big thing, especially in basketball. Like I was really young for my grade.
Yeah.
But you can reclass if you go to a prep school. They allow you to do that year you did over again.
You get another opportunity
You get another
to play
year.
to basically,
So,
yeah. I've heard of that.
After that camp, I remember like scrambling, like, oh, here's another part of the story that I love to tell. It gives me chills. So I get back from that camp. I'm home with my brothers and we're chilling. It's like a week or two later, and we're just watching like SpongeBob, doing stuff kids do. And my cell phone rings, and it's like a Delaware number. And I pick up the phone. I'm gonna say hello. He's like, "Hey, it's Coach such and such from University of Delaware." I'm like, "Yes, how you doing, Coach?" He's like, "We'd like to offer you a full ride scholarship."
Oh shit.
I'm like, looking at my brothers. They hear it because it's on speaker, and I just remember me and my brothers just like losing our shit. Like, just what? Like, this is crazy. 5 minutes later, it's another coach from like Quinnipiac.
The calls just start
Another
coming
coach,
in.
James Madison. Bro, that day I got like 10 calls in one
shit.
day. Like, it was like I get chills thinking about it because it's crazy, because I never expected that, especially coming from where I come from and like how everything started.
Right.
It was one of those other focal point moments where I realized hard work gets you where you want to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that I had another problem. I wasn't class of 2012. All these coaches were offering me class of 2013, so I'm scrambling. I'm like, I need to find a prep school.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can reclassify. You got to go to prep school so they can let you do your, redo your year.
So you can graduate within and then make the, yeah.
Yes. So, but funny enough, God works in mysterious ways. My coach at the hoop group camp was the head coach at a prep school in Connecticut.
Oh.
Right? So he then reached out and asked me if I wanted to come. So everything worked perfectly. His name's Andrew Vitale. Went up there. It wasn't cheap. Like, they weren't offering full scholarships. My parents didn't have a lot of money, but thankfully my parents have foresight and they saw the opportunity. And it put them in a hole for a couple of years, right? But the opportunity to go up there, play prep school basketball in one of the top leagues in the country,
right,
just allowed me to get that much more exposure, that much more experience, and just helped me become a better player. I went up there for 2 years, had a good 2 years, was able to get even more offers, and settled on going to Wagner College in Staten Island to play D1 ball. It was close to home. I love the coaching staff, Coach Bashir Mason, Coach Mike Babel, Coach Marquise Webb at the time. Like, those dudes, like, out of all the teams, because I had a bigger schools offer me, but those dudes would drive up from Staten Island at least once a week to my school in Connecticut to watch me practice, right?
The love was there.
The love was there, right? I was always told, like, go where you're loved, not where you're tolerated, right?
Yeah. So
they showed me love, and looking back on it, like, that was the right decision, because ultimately all those steps helped me get to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the basketball journey.
Dude, that's wild.
And how it all came together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So then you go and you're playing D1 ball.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Where and when does now, like, football come into your life, and like how does that sort of, you just take this astronomical leap, right, into like the NFL?
I mean, that's another, like, funny how God works type of situation, right? I was there to play basketball, but again, my junior year again, something with these junior years, I was, I came there, I wanted to play, I wanted to ball out. I had good seasons, I had good games, but by my junior year, I was realizing like I'm not where I want to be, right? Like that was in the back of my mind, but also at the same time, I started to be really intrigued with football. I never really cared for football.
You never played football either?
I played in ninth grade. I played lacrosse. I'm from Long Island, so I played lacrosse 7th, 8th, ninth grade. I played football 7th, 8th, ninth grade. But like once I knew I needed to focus on the sport to get a scholarship, basketball was my main focus. So I haven't played football since really JV. But while I'm in college, I'm like starting to like really be interested in football, right? I'm like, we're at away basketball games and I'm watching football on TV and I'm just getting more and more interested in the game. And I don't know what it was. Something made me think like I could give this a shot. Yeah. So I just remember throughout that junior season, I had this idea in my mind, like I'm gonna try to walk on in the team after this season. And I remember walking up to the head football coach, Coach Haas, during the season and asking him and like sat him down. I was like, hey, what do you think? Would you be opposed to me trying out for the football team at the end of the season? And he's like, hell yeah, we'd love for you to do that. Like, he's like, he was so excited. And he's like, you know what, focus on basketball right now because we're still in season and come talk to us after the season. I was like, oh, great, cool. So like, I knew he was on board. And then the entire basketball season, I'm nervous because I know I have to ask my basketball coach, Coach Bashir Mason, if it's okay if I play football. Right. And in my mind, I'm thinking he's going to be like, he's not going to be cool with it. Hell no, what are you talking about? You're on scholarship here for this. So I waited till we finished the season. We had a pretty good season, which helped. Like we made it to the NIT, all the things. We won our first game. And I sat down with him and I told him what I was planning to do, expecting the worst. And he was like, no, I think that's a great idea. He said, I think you should definitely pursue that and try it out. So for both of them to be on board with it, I was like, all right, this is a sign. Like, I should be doing this. So I remember walking onto the football team that first spring ball, and I was a tight end. Terrible, bro. I was skinny. I didn't know how to block. Like, I was a physical basketball player, but football physicality is completely different. Right. And all these dudes on the football team have been playing since probably they were 5, 6 years old. And I'm coming here at like 21 years old trying to get on this, play this sport. But I knew one thing was I wasn't going to quit because I promised the football coach and I promised the basketball coach I was going to do this. So I was a tight end for spring ball, did pretty well, was excited for camp. I'm going to be a tight end. And then I'm looking up like guys like Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, all guys who played basketball who became tight ends. And before my first camp, the head coach of the football team, Coach Haas, and the offensive line coach, Coach Wheeler, sit me down and they break it to me that they don't want me to play tight end. They're like, we need some help on the offensive line and we think you could really help us there. And I was so opposed to it, like internally, because it's like, first, I don't know what offensive line is. They're just the fat guys that run into each other. Like I was skinny, like I don't want to do this. But they made such a case that like, give it a try. So, one thing, I'm not going to quit, so I'm going to give it a try. So I start playing offensive line. I was like 240, 50 pounds, very small. But I stuck to it, man. That first camp was hard. Like, you're out in the heat. I'm used to playing basketball in the AC. Like, I'm going against dudes that are bigger than me, and all while doing this, I'm also eating like 8,000 calories a day. You're just in a surplus. So I can be
You're literally
bigger.
playing football in weather like today.
In weather like today, like 100 degrees. Yeah. Literally, was it 118 degrees Fahrenheit? I don't know what that says. Yeah. But yeah, doing that. But I stuck to it, man. I got my butt kicked a lot. I won a couple times, but I just stuck with it. And right before my first season, they put out the starting roster and they put me like, oh, you're starting right tackle. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. Yeah. Right? Like, all right, let's go. So I'm excited. I'm playing. I don't know what I'm doing out there. I'm kind of just winging it. But, like, you learn through the process.
How was your first game? Like, being...
First football game?
Yeah, that must have been
So, funny enough,
crazy.
First football game we played that season was against Boston College, right? And if you know anything about the way college football is, Wagner's D1, but it's AA. Okay. And then Boston College is like a D1 FBS school, meaning like they're up there in the ACC. We're like in the NEC. So like we're still D1, but like Boston College is here, Wagner's here. I was excited because I'm like, oh, this is my opportunity. Like I'm gonna show out, like I'm about to go crazy. I get my ass kicked that game. Like I get destroyed. I mean, they had a DN on that team who was gonna be a first round pick the next year, right? Oh, wow. And I just started playing football. So I come out there with all that confidence. And we started off the game okay, but by halftime, we're like down 21. And I gave up like 3 sacks, right? And after halftime, coach pulls me. He pulls a lot of the guys because like this is a money game for us. Like small teams, we play those big schools because they're gonna pay you a couple $100,000 just to come, right? So they put me out, but like my pride, everything, I'm defeated, right? Like I remember walking back to the team bus after that game with my head down, like literally in my head, like, oh, I'm over my head. Like I can't do this. Like I thought I could. Like I was ready to quit. Like I was going back to campus and I was gonna give my pads back in. And I remember halfway to the bus, my head coach, Coach Haas, walks up behind me, pulls me aside. He's like, hey, pick your head up. Like, he's like, you did a good job today. I was like, a good job? I got destroyed, we lost. He's like, don't worry, it's your first game. I just got done talking with the head coach of Boston College. He came up to him and said, oh, that Greg Senat kid, I think he's got potential. Tell him to keep going. So for me, that was a moment where I was like, all right, if he can see something in me, then I'm not gonna quit. Like, that's a guy who's coaching at the highest level. He sees pros all the time. If I don't see something in myself right now, I know he sees something, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
And I did, and I stuck with it. I played that year. That was my senior year. So I played that senior year out. We weren't great. We didn't win a lot of games. We were below 500, but I loved the guys. I loved being on the football team. It was new to me, like meeting new people.
It's
like,
pretty tough switching to like a whole different sport on your senior year.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I wanted to do that too during high school for soccer, but I didn't. I stuck to baseball, and it was like, by this time these guys are running way faster than me. The stamina level is like insane. Soccer's a little different. It's more of like a lot of cardio stamina. I mean, all sports are, but I think soccer's like a little more.
100%.
Yeah, so like I didn't do it, but I'm glad you did. It worked out, you know.
Did you do basketball that senior year too?
Yes.
So you ended up doing both that year?
Yeah. So another funny story. The last game of our football season was the first game of the basketball season. So we had a game at like 12 that Saturday, and it got done like maybe 3, 4, and the basketball game started at like 6 or 7.
Did you play?
Yeah, so
you did both.
So
You're a savage.
After the game, because I'm like, yo, I'm a two-sport athlete. Like I'm still committed to both of these.
Like, oh, in my 20s,
teams.
I got this.
Right,
doubleheader.
So like, I remember took my pads off after the game, dapped up my guys, ran across the street to the basketball arena, got to the locker room. Everyone's looking at me like, Greg, what the? I missed all preseason with the basketball team, right? I just show up, and they're like, Greg, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting dressed for the game. Like, you going to dress? I'm like, yeah. So I put my jersey on, go through warm-ups, everything. Like, I'm feeling good. And my coach tells me, he's like, Greg, take a couple weeks off, bro. You're not going to play today. We'll be happy when you get back, but you just got off a football season. So, all right. So I was ready. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm ready to hop on.
Mentally, you're
I'm
there.
thinking this is a story. Like, I just freaking got off my football season. But I'm glad he did because, like, I just, football's physical. I needed the time to recover. I needed time to get back in shape, basketball shape. Like, at this point, I'm like 270 pounds. Like, I put on a decent amount of weight.
Yeah.
But my basketball playing weight is like 230, 240.
Yeah.
So I'm bigger, but I needed time to get my cardio back up and stuff. But funny enough, that was one of my better basketball seasons because like I was stronger than everybody. Yeah. And I'm a big man, so like getting rebounds, setting screens, like all the things I enjoyed doing about basketball, like I was that much better.
When you started in high school, do you remember roughly were you tall already? Like, you know what I mean? Or were you still kind of developing? Like,
no, I was always tall. I was a 12-pound baby.
Okay.
Right? I was big, so like I've always.
But height-wise, I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I was
usually
always tall. Like
okay.
I was like 6'3" in 9th grade.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah, my whole family were just tall.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, it's just
it's bad when you want to like find clothes.
Yeah.
As a kid, but yeah.
How's airplane rides for you?
I only sit exit row, man.
Yeah.
Exit row. Like I try to get exit row or first class here and there, but I need leg room, bro. Yeah. It's miserable. No middle seat.
Listen, bro, you're 6'3".
Yeah. I'm 6'7" now.
6'7" now,
but yeah, back then it's 6'3".
Yeah. Okay, so then senior year, you end up doing both.
Yeah,
right?
I end up doing both.
When is that like moment, right? Like, so, you had the phone calls coming in for, D1, basketball, all these colleges, right? All these coaches. You do, the football season, basketball season. What happens next?
So it kind of built up. So I played 2 years of college football.
Okay.
Right? I played my senior year.
Yep.
And then the NCAA had a rule where when you when you become a two-sport athlete, they give you a 5th year.
Oh shit.
I think it just got initiated when I started playing. So again,
What year was this?
this was
Roughly.
2017,
2017.
right? So
2017 was your second year playing?
no,
Or
2017 was my senior year.
would have been the year you graduated.
Yeah, it would have been the year I
Well,
graduated.
So does that mean you don't graduate? You graduate the next year? Or?
I graduate that year.
But you get
right?
to play the 2018.
I get to play 2018 because they granted me a 5th year. So I'm like, all right, that's an extra year where literally I was taking one class and I was playing football.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like
it was like God kind of, bro, he lined everything up perfectly because that year, like I had no academic stress.
Right.
And I could just focus on getting stronger and becoming a better football player.
Yeah.
Right. And the senior year that when I played, scouts were showing up to our practices, which is weird. I would see them and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then I didn't know they were there for me.
Right, you're like, oh, they're here for him. They're not here for me.
Yeah, cause no lie, I didn't know they were there for me until like a coach pulled me aside and was like, Greg, you doing all right? I'm like, yeah, thank you.
I guess
He's
so.
like, you see those guys over there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, they're here to watch you. I'm like, they're here to watch me?
Damn.
Like I just started, like how does that happen?
Right.
So the moment I knew it was real, right? You say like when I was in high school and I was getting those calls, I knew it was real my senior year when I'm like at basketball practice and we have NFL scouts at our basketball practice.
Oh.
Which was like super cool to
Yeah,
me.
like now that's not a coincidence anymore.
No,
that's
now I'm
like
like
intentional.
okay, he was being for real.
Yeah.
Like I'm practicing with my basketball team and we have NFL scouts like this.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, then it's real. So then when I found out I had that 5th year, I had that extra, like, juice, that extra energy, like, oh, this is a possibility. Like,
Yeah.
I was taking it serious before, but now I have to take it to another level.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you took it to another level, right? Like,
Yeah.
did you go hard like off season or like what was? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
man, I was working out in the off season at the school, just trying to get stronger. Learning the game of football was the biggest thing for me just because I didn't know what I didn't know. Like, it was the plays for me were very simple my senior year, and I didn't know how to read defenses. I didn't know all the positions on the defense. I didn't know, like, play call. Like, so for me, that senior year was very important for me to, like, understand the game. Tactically. And I had a great offensive line coach, Coach Wheeler. He's now the O-line coach at Yale. And I can't give this man enough credit because he was one of those people that saw the potential in me before I did, right? He was the guy that never let up on me. He was the guy that even if I had a good game, he's like, you could have been better because he saw like what I didn't see. He's like, bro, you have the height, you have the size, you have the intelligence. The only thing stopping you from reaching this goal is you. So I give him a lot of credit because in my mind, he's one of the best offensive line coaches in NFL, in college, anywhere. He's very underrated. But he pushed me to be the best I could be. And that 5th year that I had was just me trying to become the best football player I can be and just take it to that next level.
So he gave you that tough love almost.
Yeah, tough love, but real love. Like, he's a real dude. But it was tough love in the sense of he saw it and he knew I wanted it and he knew what it took because he played in the NFL for a little bit. He went to Michigan State. So I respected what he said even more because this is a dude that's been there.
Yeah.
Right? He knows what it takes. He's been around those kind of guys. So whatever he tells me to do, I'm doing it.
Right.
Right?
Of course.
Like, if he tells me
he's been where you want to be.
My first camp playing football, he would give me a loaf of bread, peanut butter and jelly, and like ice cream. He's like, you got to finish that this week.
Yes, sir.
He's like, yes, sir. And that was like, looking back on it, it's not the healthiest thing, but I had to put on weight fast.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to put on weight? Peanut butter and jelly and bread and this ice cream. Eat that thing.
Yeah, you know what's actually really good for bulking? Just complete side note, Pop-Tarts. High in calorie. Yeah, bro, when you look at the packaging, and this just comes because I have a nutrition degree, but it's like 250 calories or something like that. And it's not in like the little silver bag. It's per Pop-Tart.
Oh, wow.
So when you eat 2 of them, that's like 500 calories. Bro, everyone here is eating just 2 Pop-Tarts real quick. Like, it's nothing. Damn. You could go through a box of that. Fucking 3,000 plus calories. Like nothing. And it's delicious. Not that it's healthy, but it's delicious.
No, that's a dirty bulk right there.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about putting weight on fast.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts.
You heard it here first. Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, that's your camera. You want to plug anything in.
Pop-Tarts.
Oh, shit. All right, so you play the 5th year.
Yeah.
You listen to everything this guy says.
Yeah. Everything this guy says. I find a great agent that 5th year in Sports Stars, Alan Herman, Jamie Mullen, and it like the blessings continued after that, right? I finished my 5th year, and now it's like, all right, what's the next steps? Okay, you gotta go to your pro day. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. So I'm like, I'm getting ready for the pro day and all these things and training, and then I get invited to the East-West Shrine game, right? Which is crazy. Like, no one in my conference, I think, has ever been invited to that game, or maybe one guy in like 50 years. So I'm like, okay, dang. Like,
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Like, because it goes like Reese's Senior Bowl, then there's the East-West Shrine game, and then there's the NFLPA game. Those are like the 3 games in that order of like importance. So I got invited to like the second biggest one. And now this is my first real opportunity where I get to show out in front of like hundreds of NFL scouts against like all the biggest names in college football. So you got guys from all the biggest schools, Miami, Notre Dame, and they pick them out. And then we were down in, I think it's St. Petersburg, Florida for like a week, and we're practicing. They split us up into teams. I think I was on the East team and there was a West team, or North and South. And we're practicing with all these guys we just met. And every day at practice, there's scouts watching you practice, watching you do one-on-ones. And the first day, I remember like just being so freaking nervous.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't myself.
I was just about to ask you that.
Bro.
Like, because it's a whole nother like caliber, right?
Yeah.
So now you're like, you gotta play with the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure and like the expectation. And I just remember being so nervous because I'm like, bro, you gotta realize this is all happening in 2 years.
Yeah. Big
Yeah,
jump.
this is all fairly recent.
This is
like
700 days, bro.
This is not even 2. This is probably like 18 months, right?
Yeah.
This 18 to 24 months. This stuff is going
It's like
on.
500 days.
And life is coming at me fast, and like this wasn't even my dream in the beginning. Like
Right.
basketball was my dream, but like
It just
God be God, and he be doing what he do. But so like that first day, I remember just being really nervous and just like I was like not confident. And I remember my agent pulling me to the side, and my head football coach was down there too. And he's like, yo, what's up with you? He's like, bro, you have to believe you deserve to be here, right? They wouldn't have brought you or invited you if they didn't think you couldn't do it, right? And that talk, like him sitting me down and like really just keeping it straight with me, I woke up that next day with like a just different confidence. Like, listen, I'm gonna go balls to the wall. If I mess up, I'm gonna mess up fast.
Right.
I'm gonna mess up hard, right? So I come out and like I kill it the second day,
Nice.
kill it the third day, right? We go to the game. I do pretty good in the game, and my agent's keeping me up to date with all the feedback he's getting, and it's all positive and everything's good. I'm like, good, all right, good. I'm happy I did that. Like it's out the way.
Yeah.
I did what I was supposed to do, and then like a month or 2 later, I get a call from him. He said, oh yeah, you just got invited to the NFL Combine.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like this is another, like this is crazy.
Yeah. That's as real as it gets.
That's as real as it gets, man. Like, and it's crazy because I remember just being a kid or being in college watching the NFL Combine, like seeing everybody do the 40, seeing everybody do their position drills. Like, I'm like, dang, I'm here now. Okay, this is a huge deal. Like,
You get to
if I
perform.
can show out here, that's only gonna help me. Not know what to expect. The Combine is a different beast, bro.
Yeah. How was it being there, right, for the first time with these just like elite athletes, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like,
It's not even just elite athletes. It's now you're there with everyone you watch playing.
Right.
I'm there with Saquon Barkley. I'm there with Quentin Nelson. Like, and those are dudes like I've met now, and I know them. I've seen them, worked out with them, played on teams with them. But like, I'm coming from Little Wagner College, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2,000 kids in my school.
is imposter syndrome hitting you right now?
Oh, imposter syndrome has been consistent in my life, a lot. But it's a lot, and it's intense. They throw a lot at you. And one thing about the Combine people don't know, because when you watch it, you just see us perform on TV, but they don't let you sleep. It's a mental thing, and just as much physical. Like, we have medical, right? So all 32 teams in the NFL, their doctors are just, you're on a table and they're poking you, they're touching you, they're x-raying you. So like that is like 6 hours,
Damn.
right?
You're like an
And-
object.
No, you're an object because like you got to think about it. You're an investment.
For sure. They're millions of dollars
They're
that they're
thinking
gonna-
about potentially putting $1 million in your hands. It's like buying a car, right? Before you buy a car, you get an inspection. Before you buy a house, right?
Yep.
You get it inspected. It's like, I'm not going to invest millions of dollars if there's something wrong with it.
Yep.
So like, thankfully for me, like at that point, I went through my entire collegiate career and I didn't have an injury. I never had surgery, thank God. But like that process for me was like 4 hours.
Shit.
Because, you had a sprained ankle when you were a sophomore. I'm like, how the f did you know that?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So where's the CIA agent?
Nope, we gotta go check those.
The data.
So like other guys who
We saw you sneeze too hard the other day.
Right. Got other guys who had hella surgeries and injuries, like they were in there all day.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go to another room and like every NFL team is in like, it's like a big conference room and each team has their own table. And you gotta go from table to table and they're interviewing you, asking you the wildest questions, like psychological questions, picking your brain, like, if your mom or your girlfriend was tied up on a railroad track and you only had time to save one, who would you save? Or no, like your mom and your wife. I'm like, what does this have to do with football? Like, but that's the kind of stuff they do,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a mental check.
And all that stuff goes, like you might get to bed at 2 a.m. You gotta be up at 6.
Right. You're on
Drug
the field
test
6.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Gotta be on the field. So like they stress you mentally, like because they want to see what you're made of.
That's true too, because it's like you could have the physicality, but if you're not strong up here,
it doesn't matter.
This controls this.
Yeah,
so it's like,
exactly. So it was like, it was a great experience, but it's also stressful, man, because you're just being sleep deprived. You're getting tested physically. There's the pressure of knowing that this is on national TV. There's scouts in the stands. So you got to be mentally strong. You got to,
But this is like an all-time high, bro. You're in disbelief. You're just like, bro, what is life?
What is life?
What is life? I'm here. With him here. We're doing this silly, dumb shit, important stuff. Like, and then like.
So I was still embracing it because it's like, bro, I'm just a Haitian boy from Queens.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the NFL Combine. So it was a blessing, bro. But yeah, that was a great experience. I wish I ran a better 40. That's my only regret.
What was your 40? Do you remember?
My 40 was like, I ran like a 5.2 or 5.3.
Okay.
Right, which is, for an old lineman, 40s don't really matter, but the faster you run, like that makes you...
It makes you better.
It raises
qualified.
Your stock. Right.
You're like, yo, that's a big boy running fast. Like, you're.
Yeah, but I had torn my hamstring in training, and so I hadn't ran a 40 for about 3 weeks before the combine. So the combine was the first time I ran.
Gotcha.
So like I was running like 20 yards or 10-yard like get-offs, sprints, but I couldn't open up because my hamstring was torn. So I run it on national TV and like I stumble a little bit and I just run slow because like that was the first time I ran that far, that speed in like 3 weeks leading up to the biggest moment I have to show how fast I am. But thankfully, like as an old lineman, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
We're not expected to run 40, 50 yards down the field.
Yeah, you're not a running back. You're not the wide receiver.
No, but I did pretty well on everything else. But yeah, and then that led into the NFL draft.
So talk to me about draft, right? Like, what's your family say? What are you saying? Your brothers, like friends, like how, like you? There's hype now. Like this is real.
Yeah, there's
a very potential, like it's realness happening that's about to happen right now. Like, just I want to live vicariously through this, bro.
So I mean, after the combine, right? The next step is now you have all these teams interested in you. Now they're inviting you on visits. So I remember I visited the Chargers. I visited the Texans. I think I visited the Giants. So they invite you out there for like a day or two, and you tour the facility. You meet with your position coach. You might meet with the head coach, the GM, and it's just like another interview process, right? They want to get you in the building. They want to see what makes you tick, kind of get into your head a little bit. So that was cool. And then the draft comes a little bit after that. And I knew, my agent was like, you might go in the third round, but you can go anywhere from third round down. So first day is just first round, I think, first or second round. Yeah. And the second day is like second and third. So like I was tuned in to the second and third day, but by that time, third round was a reach. So the big day was day 3. And like my agent, dope as he is, Alan Herman, he rented out a bar down in the city. Like he rented the whole back of it out. I was able to invite my entire family, and it was like catered food, and we were just watching the draft together.
You're just waiting,
right?
Everyone's just getting picked,
Which
and
is
you're
like,
just like,
I didn't know how stressful that was gonna be.
Yeah.
Because you're just watching it, and you're like, every time a pick comes in, you're like, oh, okay. And I had some of my boys were getting drafted that year. Like my boy Foley and my boy Bilal. So I'm keeping an eye on where they're getting drafted.
Yeah.
They get drafted before me. I message them, yo, congrats. But all the meanwhile, like, I'm stressed out. I'm like, is this gonna happen? My whole family's here. Everyone's looking at me.
This is the moment that you've just been leading up to.
And you're getting phone calls, right? You're getting phone calls from teams, and you're thinking that's the call. But they're like, hey, just want to say we really liked your tape. If you don't get drafted, we want to bring you in as an undrafted free agent. Like I like 12 or 14 of those calls. So every time the phone picks up, everyone's like,
shut the music off.
Yeah. And then you look at them, you're like, nah. So put it down. So we're at this bar for like 4 hours, man. And sixth round comes around. I was like the 212th pick. Right, like 210th pick is on the board, and then I get a Baltimore Raven, not a Baltimore Ravens, but a Baltimore phone number calls me, and it's like Ozzie Newsome, who's the GM of the Ravens at the time, and he calls. He's like, "Hey, this is Greg Senat." He's like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "It's Ozzie Newsome. How'd you like to be a Baltimore Raven?" At this point, I'm like, "Sir, yes, whatever you need me to do, I'ma do it." He's like, "Good, I'm happy to hear it." And he's like, "I'm put you on the phone with Coach Harbaugh." So then I get on the phone with Coach Harbaugh, and he talks to me and tells me he's excited for me to come. And like I take the call in the back room because I just don't want to look anyone in the eye.
Right.
So like you hear it's quiet. I get off on the call. I come in back and everyone's waiting. I'm like, I'm about to be a Baltimore Raven. Hey. Everyone just goes crazy. My cousins are going crazy. My brothers are there. My parents are Haitian, so they don't know too much about. Even at this point,
they're like my son's in the NFL.
Like they just my son's in the NFL. Like God bless my parents, bro. Like they work so freaking hard, man. Like my entire life, like. My dad was a cab driver for like 15 years in New York, and he got his RN degree while being a cab driver, while raising 3 boys. My mom, she's worked her butt off. Like, like they couldn't make, like I played sports since I was in 5th grade. I can count on maybe like 2 hands how many games they've been to.
Right.
But I never hold it against them. Like I was never that kid. I was like, hate you, mom and dad. You don't support me. He's like, I know you're working.
They were doing what they needed to do for you to be there on the court, on the field.
Exactly.
To be able to...
So to have them in that moment and like see the pride on their face and just how excited they are, and my mom going like, "Praise Jesus!" Like she's just going crazy. It was a great moment, man.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
Bro. Did you have any inclination or expectation from the Ravens, or like
no?
Was there any other teams in mind where you were like hoping for, like maybe gave you a little?
I thought I was going to be an Eagle because I had met Coach Stoutland, who was also good friends with my agent. I met him at the Combine, and we had a great conversation and all the things. And that's what I thought. But they had the 3rd round pick. They got another O-lineman in the 3rd round, so I knew I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah.
The Ravens, they worked me out at Wagner, like because coaches would come and work you out during that process too, just randomly. Like the assistant coach worked me out, but I didn't know any, like the Ravens were not even someone I thought about,
right?
Which is crazy. Like teams that it's like it happens a lot to guys in the draft. Like unless you're a 1st round, maybe 2nd round pick, the team you think is going to pick you usually never picks you. It's usually someone that has been watching you on the low and doesn't want to let people know that they're trying to get you, and that's where you end up going.
You just get scooped up.
Yeah,
you have no idea.
No idea, bro. But I'm happy. I'm happy. It was a blessing.
So then you go to the Ravens that coming season, right? Now it's the NFL. I mean, you've done.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know much about football. I'm more into soccer. But where are the Ravens located at?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay, so you're still on the East Coast.
Still on the East Coast. 3-hour train ride, maybe. It's not
from
far.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-hour train ride.
I've been to Baltimore.
You've been to Baltimore. It's not far.
Yeah.
So it was great. Like I was close. My parents came to a lot of my preseason games, and like my family could still come see me and stuff like that. But that was like. This is when I knew mental health is real, right, in the NFL, or like just for men in general. So first camp with the Ravens, I'm in the NFL now. Mind you, this is all 2 years, right? This all happens
700
within
days.
A matter of 2 years. I go from being a college basketball player to now I'm in the NFL, right? Like it happened that fast. So I'm in the NFL, and there's a lot to learn, right? This is a new game. It's new play calls, new locker room, just new way of being, because like you're a professional athlete now.
Yeah.
You're not a collegiate athlete.
How old are you?
I got into the league when I was a little older, maybe like 22, 23. Yeah. So I was just trying to take everything in as much as possible. Like I made a lot of mistakes just because like I didn't know what I didn't know. But the thing is, with me, I'm gonna work my butt off, right? I'm gonna figure it out. So that first year with the Ravens, like I had a couple injuries in camp that kept me out here and there. Just like, mind you, I never got hurt in college. I get to the NFL, I start getting hurt right away.
Yeah.
Right?
Different intensity.
Yeah. So, but I make it through camp. Well, I don't make it through camp. My very last preseason game, we're playing Miami, and I'm like taking a bull rush from Cameron Wake, actually. And I feel like my right foot just goes dead, right? Like I'm trying to push, but I feel like there's no strength. So I'm like, that's weird. Maybe something weird happened. So I go back and I play again, another pass play, trying to take a bull rush, and I'm just getting walked back. And not because I'm not trying, it's just my foot's not working. So I get out of the game, and I tell the medical staff, like, I think there's something wrong with my foot, right? So like, all right, come on, let's go inside. They do an x-ray. They don't see anything wrong with my foot, right? So now I'm like, but I know something's wrong with my foot. Like, I can't walk. So they're like, you know what, to be safe, we'll keep you out the game. So the game finishes. I'm like pissed because like I'm a competitor and I don't like feeling like I failed myself or failed other people. So I'm on the plane. I'm like, it doesn't feel so bad. Like, damn, I'm a bitch. Like, well, no, like I'm like cursing myself out. Like this is how I used to talk to myself. It's like, bro, you a bitch. Like you could have finished that game. Like, what's wrong with you? Like I get off the bus. Like I have crutches, right? So I'm walking off the plane. I get back to the hotel room and like, I'm just like cursing myself out in the mirror. Like, this is your opportunity. I started that game. Like, I got better every preseason
You're being
game,
hard on yourself,
right? First preseason game on TV, boom, didn't do well. Second one got better. Third one got better. I think it might have been the fourth one. Like, oh, I'm starting. Like, this was my opportunity. Motherfucking myself. Like, I'm like just pissed, right? Just having like mini panic attack in the mirror, right? Like, I'm just like not happy with myself. Wake up the next morning, my entire foot is black and blue.
Damn.
Like swollen, black and blue. I'm like, oh, I did do something to my foot. Ended up tearing the main ligaments in my big toe. I got turf toe, had to have turf toe surgery. So I was out my entire rookie season, I was on IR.
Shit, bro.
Yeah, so that's how I started my NFL career.
That must have been a mental battle that year.
Yeah. How'd you deal with that mentally?
Man, you know, that's when I knew therapy was real. The Ravens have a clinician. Her name's Dr. Trisha. Like, God bless this woman. She's great. And I was going through stuff, like, obviously mentally, physically. I had a relationship that was not good at the time. And, like, being able to talk with her and, like, have someone to speak to really helped a lot. Because, like, when you're on IR in the NFL, you're part of the team, but you're not a part of the team. It's like if you can't help the team, they don't care about you.
Were you like just traveling with them or no?
No.
No.
So like, I'd come in the morning, I would do some rehab, whatever, and then they send me home. Go back to my apartment in Baltimore. So like, everyone was like, you know, they're still practicing, they're still game planning, they're still doing this.
The ball's still rolling.
The ball's still rolling.
Yeah, it has to.
The bus doesn't stop with you.
Yeah.
But like you feel very isolated, and like you're not bonding with your teammates. So like when you see people in the hallway, it's just kind of like you're just walking by.
You feel like an outsider a little bit.
Yeah, like you're like, oh yeah, I'm the hurt guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like once I started to get a little better, I tried to sit in meetings because I wanted to still be a part of it. I still wanted to learn. I'm still young, but it's still weird when you're not providing anything to the team. You're the hurt guy.
Yeah.
So that next season, season ends, I'm off IR, I'm back with the Ravens. Like I'm like full go, like I'm ready to make up for what I did last year. Go through camp, praise God, I made it through healthy. I make the team, right? So I make the team. I'm excited, like yes, I'm finally doing this, Week 2 of the season, I get called into the GM's office and they let me know they're gonna release me.
Damn.
And they tell me, you know, it's a numbers game. We need to bring in an extra DB, and you know we have too many offensive linemen. But we're gonna plan to bring you back on practice squad. So it's my first time like knowing what it's like to get cut in the NFL. So I go back. I'm like, I leave the building, grab my stuff because Once they cut you, you got to get your stuff, return your iPad, and you're on your way. So I go back to my apartment. I'm calling my agent. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
So do they stop paying you when that happens, or like they void everything?
Yeah, everything stops.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm back in the apartment. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, don't worry, like you're a free agent right now. I think it's like the weekend. So like the way it works, like if you get cut on like a Friday, business doesn't operate Saturday and Sunday because like teams are playing.
Yeah.
But then Monday comes around, and that's when teams will bring you back on practice squad, or is it Tuesday, whatever. Teams will bring you back on practice squad, or like in the meanwhile, if nothing happens, another team can just scoop you up.
And word gets around over the weekend too that
once
something
you're
like
released,
this happens.
yeah,
and then,
you're on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
So you pop up like Greg Senat, he's on the wire.
Yeah.
That after that Sunday, I get a call from the Chiefs. They want to bring me on, so they just scoop me off. Like before because other teams have an opportunity to pick you up.
And so this is a matter of days now.
Yeah, it's a matter of days. So like,
cut.
I go from thinking I'm done with the NFL to, I'm going to Kansas City Chiefs. Like, this is sick.
Career's not over.
Yeah, career's not over. So I go, and it's crazy. That's like when you get called from another team, like they call you, and it's not like, yeah, take a few days to get your affairs in order. It's like, yeah, we booked you a flight for 7 p.m. You got.
It's like we'll see you at training tomorrow, 6 a.m.
We got to see you. Yeah, well, you got a medical. We got to do your physical, and then you're signed on. So I literally have to pack a suitcase or two, get to the airport. I'm in Kansas City.
What do you do?
All my stuff is still in Baltimore. Yeah, everything's still there. Yeah, I just take what I like: shorts, underwear, sneakers.
You stay at their facilities and stuff?
They put you in a hotel at first.
Okay.
So go there, do my physical. Then they put you up in a hotel until you can get situated and find your own place. And then now I'm in Kansas City. I'm a Chief.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. Like I went from being on a great team in Baltimore. I got drafted with Lamar Jackson. Like that's my first quarterback ever. I'm like, oh, this is sick. And then my second year, I get to be around like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill.
I feel like the Chiefs are a bigger team.
Yeah, like I got to be around those dudes.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
So new experience, like it's new environment. I'm the new kid in school.
Yep.
I gotta like.
How did they welcome you? Was the Chiefs? I don't know, the aura, just the team itself, right? Was it welcoming?
The Chiefs are a great team, man. Yeah. The organization is really, really good. The O-line room was very chill. Like everyone in that room was cool. Had a bunch of personalities in there. Obviously, it takes time for people to warm up to you, but there wasn't like any hate when you walk in. Like, because in the NFL, every Tuesday, there's a new guy on your team. There's a new guy, there's someone gone, and there's someone new. So it's nothing like, oh, where did you come from? It's like, we expected someone to be here. So it was cool, like great organization. They had great veterans, great young guys. I couldn't complain. And I was on a winning team now. Little did I know that was the year we won the Super Bowl. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
But
talk to me about that, bro. Right. So now you're with the Chiefs. Whole change of pace. Whole different city. Still offensive tackle, right? You've recovered from your injury, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've also maybe like, not that you were struggling mentally, but kind of overcame that sort of just thoughts of like, shit, you know what I mean? My rookie year, this is what's going on. And then it obviously just the season ends with the pinnacle, right? Like I mean, the biggest win you could have in all of football. So just all those games, like at what point like were you guys like, yo, like it's gonna happen, like we're making it, you know what I mean? Like is it like, yo, it's a real possibility? What are those locker room talks like, the coach talks like, you know what I mean? If you're able to even talk about any of that.
So we'll start with just getting to the team, right? And now I'm practicing with these guys. I'm on the active roster, but I wasn't dressing. Like I still needed time to get used to the playbook and kind of find my way. But I was active, meaning I was traveling. I was on the sidelines. I was in like team issued hoodies and stuff. But like when you're active like that, you're really just like, say something happens to a guy last minute, they bring you up. So like seeing, just being around like the caliber of talent that was on that team, watching it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that season started off as good as it ended, right?
Yeah.
It was shaky in the beginning, but it was probably after halfway through the season, things turned around. But for me, another thing happened. Week 8, I fractured my toe. The same toe I tore, I got a fracture in it in practice. So now I'm on IR with the Chiefs.
Oh.
Yeah. So like first 8 games, active. Last 8 games through the Super Bowl, I can't play. But I'm still around. At this point, like it's like I've been through this. So I kind of know how to manage my emotions and keep the perspective. Like, I'm still involved. I'm still in meetings. I'm rehabbing as best as I can because I know, like, I want to get back healthy, but I'm just really just enjoying the process and just like being around the guys. But like, I got a front row seat to seeing how like Mahomes, how Kelsey worked, how all these guys worked, and seeing how the season turned around. Like, and I like really seeing like, oh, these dudes are different, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Mahomes is different, bro.
Yeah.
Like
What did you see that you were like, fuck, man, like this guy
I think
is the
it
real
was
deal?
like, I want to say it was the first playoff game, and we played Houston Texans, right? And that's when Deshaun Watson was quarterback, and that team was really good. He had them going. And first half, we're down 21 points to them, right? And I'm like, shit, the season's over. Bro, after halftime, they come out and just go crazy. I think we beat them by like 15 points. We're down 21, and then to come back in the second half
And be up 15,
and
yeah.
be, I don't know the exact score, but we're up, I think, double digits. I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, no, they're like that. Mahomes is like that. All of them boys is like that. And that was like probably I knew we had something before, just watching how everything unfolded, but that was the moment. It's like, oh nah, this team is hard to beat.
Yeah.
This team's hard to beat, and then it just kept rolling. And then being at the Super Bowl, like having the confetti fall, holding the trophy. My brother was there with me. Like, that was like just insane. It was hard to, at the time, it was hard to just take in because it's like, it's my second year in the NFL and I get to be a part of a Super Bowl.
You're kind of like living life very accelerated.
Yo.
Like very accelerated.
On 100 every day.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Hyper
feel
speed.
like maybe like you're still looking for what that purpose is, like you're in your life now that you've been through so much? Like, what do you look forward to now after, you know?
Well, now you've had a big career change, right? So, you know, Chiefs and then, you know, obviously a couple of teams there, but the most recent, biggest now, like, high, I think, is becoming a real estate agent.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. To Raf's question, like, about purpose, I mean, I feel like through my career, through my ups and downs, I always knew what my purpose was, but now that I'm older and I can look back on life, I really know what my purpose is. Like, hindsight's 20/20, right? But like, I'm a man of faith. Like, I'm a man who loves to help people. I give back a lot to my community. I know that God didn't put me in this position just to like edify me. Like, I'm here today where I am and all things I've been able to do because what I've been able to accomplish will serve as an inspiration to other people, be as an inspiration to the younger people out there. So, you know, like, later in my career, I realized the importance of like your platform, the importance of, you know, you're not just Greg Senat, you're Greg Senat, the NFL player. You're Greg Senat, the Super Bowl champion. And that comes with responsibility because people will just listen to you because of who you are and where you've been and what you've been able to accomplish. And you can either use that to like speak life into people. You can use that to either be a positive influence, or you can use that for selfish needs, selfish purposes. And you know, like, I'm grateful for everything I've been through, the ups, the downs, because it made me who I am today, right? And in this new phase of life, now getting into the world of real estate, I get to take that same competitive nature. I get to take that same like discipline, diligence that I was able to put into a 6-year career in the NFL, put into playing college basketball, being an athlete my whole life, and I can take that and transfer it into this realm of life where like I'm directly impacting people, right? Buying a house or whatever is probably the biggest expense anyone will ever do in their life. Like, it's not to take lightly. Like, there's emotions involved, finances obviously involved, there's a lot involved. So taking those same skills into this realm of life is really important for me. But also, now being a more well-rounded person, I understand my purpose a lot more, right? And I'm very excited to see how I can use this realm of real estate to impact people.
Yeah.
How I can use this, being in this platform, to help those around me, help my community, help people that are less fortunate or need a little bit of guidance. Like, I feel like in 29 years, I've lived a lot of life. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. And there's a lot of wisdom that I have. I'm still learning. I definitely don't act like I know everything, but
You probably avoided a lot too, to be honest.
yeah, avoided a lot too. Like, thank God. Like, I could have fell into a lot of darker stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see what happens in this next chapter of life, and to prove that, like, you know, for athletes out there, a lot of us, when we get done, man, we're lost. Like, our lives have been sports our whole,
It's competition.
from when we were a kid, right?
It's like an identity.
It's your identity is
Competition,
so
yeah.
intertwined in who you are, right? When you're done, people like, it's funny now because when I tell people, hey, yeah, I played 6 years in the league, and they're like, oh, so yeah, you still playing? It's like, I'm not playing right now. I'm a real estate agent right now. And it's like people act like someone died.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, but like, I love what I do. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But to the average person, being in the NFL is like the be all end all. And when you're done, they feel like your life is over. I'm like, no,
Right.
your life just began.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much life out there. So if I could be an example to like athletes out there who are thinking about transitioning or in that process, like, listen, there's a whole world out here. There's so many skills and gifts that you have as an athlete that translates so well to the real world out here. Like, don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to get out there. Don't be scared out there to hustle, because both the world is your oyster. Like, you're not just an athlete. You're not just what you do.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot more than that. I have 2 questions regarding the Super Bowl, and then I want to definitely dive into, you know, this career change. What was that after party like, bro? Because like, one thing is, right, you're training with these guys, but then it's like, yeah, it's like, it's time to fucking celebrate, right? Like, this victory, right?
It's a
like,
big team, so after party.
you know?
Yeah,
like I'm sure there's shit that like happened that we're not gonna talk about.
Yeah,
talk off camera or whatever.
We'll talk in generalities.
Yeah, but just like briefly, right? Like, what's that high?
Man, so the high is crazy. Like,
Coming home to the Chiefs stadium and hometown.
yeah, well, there was a parade. That parade is insane. But like, after the Super Bowl, like, you know, you're on the field, confetti's falling, people are hugging their kids, their wives, they're crying, you know. It's like this, it's like this big feeling of unbelief, like, yo, we did it. But it's also like a big feeling of relief, like, oh my gosh, we did it.
Yeah.
Because if you're on the other side, you're going home pissed, sad.
You made it this far.
We made it this far. So
We're not going to Disneyland.
You know, it's just like the energy is crazy. Holding the trophy, being on stage with all those dudes. And then what they don't tell you is, like, it's not like the game's over and you go right to partying. We were in the locker room for like 2 hours. Then you're in the bus for like 2 hours because guys are doing media. So like, the game's over and you don't get back to the hotel till like midnight or after. So
and
like,
you still got to shower.
You still got to shower.
change,
You got to
and,
talk
like,
to your family, and then you hit the clubs, right? It's in Miami. We're going to 11. We're going to Live. It's like, it's just a nonstop party. Like, you're going from here to here to here to here.
You're probably tired the next day.
Half the team missed the plane back. There was another plane they had to take. But it's like super.
It's
like,
expected.
It's expected. It's a Super Bowl. Like, what do you expect? Yeah, the parties were crazy. I had my brother with me, so we're just hopping around, going, like, Lil Wayne was in the section, partying. Like, he was performed that night. I think it was 11 was the club. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. It's mayhem. And then the bigger celebration is like a week later when you get back to Kansas City and we have the parade.
Right.
And there's over 1 million people in the street.
Yeah.
Right. We're on these buses going through the city, and the fans are just cheering, chugging beers, throwing us beers on the.
One of my boys is
on the
super
bus.
big Chiefs fan, so he's one of those.
He was there. He would have loved it. Man, that was unreal. I have so many videos from that. But just to experience it, man, like, it's a blessing. Like, even through the hardships, being hurt that year, like, it took me a while, and this is where mental health comes in. I was really mad at myself that I wasn't a part of it the way I wanted to be a part of it. Because being hurt, I wasn't.
Like, it didn't happen the way you wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
Yet it still happened.
Yet it
so
still
it's
happened.
like, you got to be okay with that reality almost.
Exactly.
I feel like that would fit in your purpose, though. Like, I feel like God wanted you to be part of that, but He wanted to use that for something else.
Oh, 100%.
That's still to come, you know.
100%. Nothing's ever wasted in life. Nothing. Whatever you go through, good, bad, indifferent, like, nothing is wasted. Everything comes in pieces together at a different point, right? Your life is a giant book. Like you read a book and chapter 1 might make no sense, right? You get to chapter 5 and it connects.
Yeah.
Chapter 10, you're like, oh, I see where it was going. That's our lives. So that's part of it, is like having faith that everything's gonna work out the way it's supposed to, but also just giving yourself grace and understanding, like everything happens for a reason. It didn't happen the way you wanted, but guess what? You got to experience something
that a lot of people don't get to.
Less than half of 1% of everyone who's ever lived on this earth got to experience.
Yeah, it's a crazy statistic.
And post Super Bowl, I mean, like you were on some other teams. Like you did have a career though. You played, so you know what I mean. It wasn't like.
Yeah, I played. I mean, I battled with some injuries throughout my career. I had certain situations where, you know, I was fighting to be that last man on the roster. Like I was chasing the league for a while. You know, like. I never got to be that starting right tackle, that starting left tackle, but I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of being able to, one, last as long as I did. That's a testament, I think, to just the amount of effort and hard work and like effort I just put into it.
And we're talking about something that, bro, you started junior year, like we said before, off of a 2 years notice. Like people don't just, bro, people work their whole lives. You know, I went to school. You've gone to school with people who, you know, football since they were a kid, who've given it that dedication and work for 20, 18 years or whatever, and
don't make.
Yeah, and you don't make it.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's life is all about perspective, is what I always say, right? And you definitely have it, highest of highs, lowest of lows. And in more exciting news, like I said, I view you as like, bro, this is like real life ballers, you know? Like you're our friend, you're my friend, and I'm like, shit, like, bro, this is The Rock, but instead of finance, we're doing real estate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
First thing I said to you when I met you, right? I was like, yo, this is like a real life ballers, bro.
You guys get a bonus when you win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we all get a bonus. You get a bonus for every playoff game, and then you get another bonus for the Super Bowl.
Well, is the Super Bowl the biggest one that you get?
Oh, yeah, it's the biggest bonus,
or
for
they're
sure.
all like close?
No, it's bigger. I mean, it's not thinking crazy. It's not like what guys would get paid.
What'd you do
for
with
their
some of the
game
NFL
checks.
money, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not saying like hundreds of millions, but I'm saying like anything nice that you were like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself.
The nicest thing I did was I bought my Tahoe when I was a rookie.
Okay. Or for like family, right? It doesn't have to be just like, oh, I spent it on you.
Take my family on vacation.
Yeah.
Like that was a big thing.
That's
like,
rewarding.
My parents.
Where'd you guys go?
My parents went to Puerto Rico.
Hell yeah.
My parents have never been on vacation. They've been in this country for 30 plus years. Literally worked their butt off. Like they never. The closest thing they've been to vacation is missions trips, and you know that's not vacation.
Yeah.
Right. You're working. So for me, it was like,
pack your bags, we're out.
yeah, pack your bags. Dad, I don't care if you got to work. I'll pay you for this week. Like, you're getting out. We're going in for a week. And like, it was the best thing for them. Like seeing them just like lay by the pool and not have to worry about anything. My dad got sunburnt. This black man got sunburnt. That's how much he's just like at peace laying by the side of the pool. Like,
no,
it's good. Like, and that's the things. Those are the things I've always wanted to do. Right, with my money for my family. Like, I never wanted to buy a million chains. I didn't want to buy all this designer stuff. Like, I wanted to have enough money. Like, if in college, if you asked me, sophomore year, Greg, like, what would make you happy? It's like, I want to have enough money to buy Chipotle whenever I want, go to the movies whenever I want, and have a car. That was it.
Dude, you've done that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like, I remember distinctly having that thought to myself, like, man, if I could have those three things,
I'm content.
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's like, that's all I fucking need.
It's all great.
I'm a simple man.
I'm very simple, bro.
Yeah, that's I think why, you know, I respect you a lot too.
Appreciate
you know what I mean? But yeah, bro, real estate, dude, right?
Yeah.
Corcoran Infinity Properties. We've shot a couple videos now. Multi-million. I mean, bro, your real estate career started off hot, bro. Everything you're touching starts off hot.
Hey, that's all God, bro.
I've seen new real estate agents.
Yeah.
And bro, they got to work their way to get like that first $1 million listing, or like get like, you know, the reputation and the career traction and sales and all this stuff to.
I feel like he's gonna retire 6 years from real estate and then he's gonna be on to the next thing.
We're gonna do a podcast update a couple years from now.
My boy's gonna sell a stadium and then be like, all right, I'm moving on.
You're 29, right?
I work for Tesla now.
Yeah, so we'll be like, okay, at 39.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's life, though, guys. Like, you don't understand. Like,
No, I understand. I get it. It's awesome,
Your
bro.
life can change in a year. Like
Literally.
who you are today will not be who you are tomorrow.
Yeah,
Right?
and it can change, both like just unexpectedly, but
Yeah.
also if you allow
work.
it to and
Yes.
work for it to.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
that's the biggest thing I think. You know,
That's the secret sauce.
because bro, you could have gotten scouted. You could have walked into that, the field and the combine and just all these tryouts, and it's like, if you hadn't prepared, it's
Yeah.
like the opportunity's there, but you have to seize it.
Yep.
Like you have to, act on it.
I could see him in a couple years, like in a survival show or something like that.
Survivor?
Yeah.
I ain't doing that.
Let's
bro.
dominate. Let's dominate YouTube, yo.
Let's go. I'm with that.
But yeah, bro. So real life baller shit, right?
Yeah.
Now we're on to real estate.
Yeah.
What was not the agenda, right? But it's sort of like you said, right? The NFL was your identity, and I'm sure athletes can relate to this, right? That's all you've known, that's all you've done, right? The first 25, 30 years of your life or whatever. And now it's like, well, what do I do next, right? It's like, do I launch a company? Do I go do this, get into real estate or whatever, or service product based? Why real estate, right? Like, was that something that, were you plotting? Did it also fall in your lap? Like, how did that transition happen?
That was coming to that decision was a slower process too. I think after like my 4th year in the league, I started to really try to think about what do I want to do when it's all said and done. Like I told you, I've had my fair share of injuries, and I hadn't always had the success I wanted while I played football. So the thought of like this is going to come to an end, I had that since the beginning. Like
Right.
I didn't think I was going to make the NFL. I did. I didn't think I was going to play 6 years in the NFL, but I did. So like I always had the thought that, oh, this can end any day. What the heck am I going to do? So like I was always big on investing in myself, right? Even while I played, even in college, like interning, shadowing people, going to these different business combines, taking the opportunity to go up to Harvard and do this crossover into MBA program ran by Anita Elbers, and being around all these other like Olympians, pro athletes who just want to learn more about the business world.
You graduated, right?
So it wasn't technically graduate, but it wasn't like a proper MBA program.
Okay.
Right? It's called the Harvard crossover into MBA program.
Okay.
Anita Elbers, she runs like the sports and entertainment part of their MBA program, so she's very connected to.
But you got your bachelor's.
I have my bachelor. Did I graduate? Yeah. I got
What's your degree? Like,
medical anthropology.
okay.
So I was a nursing major in college.
Oh.
So again, not thinking like always having a backup plan. Another reason I chose Wagner, they have one of the best nursing programs in the country. Both my parents are nurses, and I went into college thinking, I need to have a solid career.
If all else fails,
Yeah.
like this is.
So I went the medical route, and I tried to get my nursing degree. It was very hard because playing 2 sports, and I don't know if you know anyone who was in nursing school, you have no free time.
Yeah.
No.
You're in the hospital, you're taking exams, you're doing rotations. So I tried, I did everything I could, took summer classes, but it just wasn't gonna work out. So I had to transfer to medical anthropology.
Yeah.
I have a
In the hopes
question.
of coming back.
In college, what was like the one course that like really kicked your ass?
Statistics.
Statistics.
I hate statistics. I couldn't understand it. I could not understand it, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Statistics is boring. I took a statistics class. It's
Yeah.
just.
I don't know what it was about it. Like, and you know what it is? I think it's what it is math and stuff, like algebra, like all that stuff, calculus, is cool, but it doesn't have a lot of real world application until like you're grown and now you're dealing with money. Now you care about percentages.
Right.
Now this makes sense to me. But until you have something that matters to you, like numbers are just numbers.
For sure, yeah. I think that's why they make it to statistics, because it's probably the most relevant or most real life scenario based versus like anything else.
Anything
that you'll
else,
take.
like it's legit.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
What was your favorite?
Sociology.
Okay.
Sociology, public speaking. Those are probably my 2 favorite ones I can remember. Yeah.
So now that you're out, right? So you were talking about investing, right? Nursing is out of the question.
Maybe. Who knows what
Who
happens
knows?
in the future?
10 years from now?
Right now, yeah, it's on hold. I don't.
Nah, bro. Looking like a boss at these nice houses. It's different.
Walking out of Aston Martins.
Stop. That was nice though. That's smart. Was nice.
Oh God. But yeah, how's so it's been what now? 3 months?
Yeah, about 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
What would you say? What's it like? You know, the experience, the career shift, the overall everyday just experience, I guess.
I say it's smooth and rough because like it's new, right? So I don't know what I don't know. I'm learning a lot as I go on. In the beginning, I really didn't know what to do with myself. Like I'm a guy who likes structure. I like having a routine. I like having a schedule. But like when you get into real estate, nobody tells you, hey, you should do this from 8 to 10, do this from 10 to 12.
Right.
So it was a lot of just figuring it out as I go,
What to
meeting
do with
with
your
people.
time.
Yeah, what do I do with my time?
Especially coming from like the NFL, where it's like you have a schedule every day, every week,
second.
every month. Like,
right? You know what you're going to be doing 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Like that's not real estate. Like it's day to day, especially in the beginning. It's a lot of just prospecting, reaching out to people, building a book of business. Cause like, yeah, I was an NFL player, but I'm a newbie in this. Like nobody knows that I do this or this is what I'm into now. So it's a lot of cold calling. It's a lot of reaching out. It's a lot of doing open houses, meeting clients. Like it's a humbling experience. Like you have to start from the bottom, right? I got to hear Justin Tuck. He was a DM for the Giants. I think he won 2 Super Bowls, and he was at a business combine I went to this past weekend.
I saw that. Yeah.
And now he's one of the managing partners at Goldman Sachs, I think.
Wow.
Right? It might be Goldman Sachs. It might be something else if it's the
Don't
wrong
quote
one.
him on it. Yeah.
But like he got into that after he got done playing. This is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Giant legend, retired. I think he went to UPenn to get his MBA. After he got his MBA, he got a job at Goldman Sachs. He was getting coffees for people. He was running errands for the other managers, right? Like this is a dude, 6'4", 260, can beat up anybody in front of him.
Yeah.
Getting coffee for dudes 5'10", 150 pounds. Like, but
It's
he
crazy.
spoke about the fact that you have to humble yourself,
For sure.
right? You have to be okay with starting from the bottom and taking your lumps to build yourself back up. Nobody cares what you did in your past life.
Yeah.
You have to prove yourself in this life. So for me, like I'm not resting on my laurels. Like I'm getting on the phones. I'm going to networking events. I'm meeting people. I'm letting people know this is what I'm doing. I'm passionate about it. I'm getting good at it. Like, so it's a new journey. It's like another start. You've seen all the beginnings of my life.
Yeah.
Like this is another one of those, and I'm gonna just attack at full speed. Like nothing just comes.
Absolutely.
I'm blessed to be part of Corcoran and have a great team, and Roy, and then like a broker like Dave and Danielle. Like they've done amazing by me and just like helping me get my name out there and putting a lot of kind of finances behind that.
A lot of trust too.
Trust too, right? But I'm a worker, so
Yeah.
that's not gonna get me sales. That's
Yeah.
not gonna get me listing appointments. I got to go out there and get it.
Absolutely.
So that's my mentality
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Take care of the work. The work takes care of you, as I always
That's
say.
it.
You know, and
That's
to Justin's thing, it's like, it's nice to be important.
Yeah.
But it's important to be nice.
Ah, that's
You
a
know?
bar. That's a bar.
You know, because it's like, yeah, bro. At the end of the day, we're all human beings.
We're
you
all
know?
human beings.
Sure, we have like accolades and things that we've done, you know, but it's like,
Right.
just be nice to people, you know,
That's it.
whoever, whatever,
Yeah.
wherever.
Treat
you
the
know?
janitor the same way you would treat the CEO.
Absolutely,
That's it.
absolutely, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So what's to expect this year, right? What are some goals, right? I mean, you're gonna get after it. We're gonna see you in houses. We're gonna make some videos together. Like,
Yeah.
any words, messages, anybody out there, any other athletes that are, just what's the future in hold for you, bro?
Man.
Now we know what you're doing, we know what you did, but like, where do we go?
The goal for me, man, is just to take this thing all the way to the top. Like, I just don't want to be seen as like Greg, the NFL player who's now doing real estate. That's who I am, but I want to be seen as Greg, who is an excellent agent.
Yeah.
Right? Like the guy you want to call because you know he's going to take care of everything and make sure everything goes smoothly. I want to really get my foundation off the ground this year. I never had one. I really just do it out of the kindness of my heart, out of my own pocket. Like I'll do a Christmas drive every year from my hometown in Elmont and just kind of give back to the community and the kids. But I want to take it to the next level. I was never able to like really focus on it and grow it when I was playing because I was so concerned with just trying to stay employed
Right.
and get another job. But I mean, God's blessed me so much. Is like I want to really dive into giving back. I want to take this career thing to the next level. And I just want to grow, want to learn, man.
Let me know whenever you do that drive.
Yeah.
I got you.
Bro,
I would like to help out with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it. But yeah, bro, I just want to be the best me I can be, bro. Constant self-improvement, constant just trying to be a better person, trying to be a better realtor, be a better brother, a better son. I think when you do all those things, everything kind of falls into place. You gotta take care of yourself first, and yeah.
Was your family always like, are you Christian or?
Yeah.
Okay. Was your family always like religious, or is it just you who, became religious to the family?
No, man. My dad has been an ordained pastor for like 10 plus years now.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Right. He's also an evangelist. Like, my dad's one of the hardest working people I know. Like, he's worked 2 jobs at a time. He full time at the church. He'll take like 2 trips a year to Haiti and do missions trips. He has churches down there, right? My mom, big woman of faith. Like I remember, it's a side note, but I just remember being a teenager and just like walking into the living room and seeing my dad have like all the bills spread out on the living room table, and like head in hand, like scratching, like figuring out how he's gonna pay this, what he's gonna pay first. And I remember like sneaking up behind him and taking a picture of him and just a table. And I made that my background on my phone.
That's real.
That's cool.
Like, he won't have to do that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna change that. So like, I respect my parents so much, and it's all been through faith, man. My parents have really laid a really good foundation for me and my brothers. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I've had my moments. I wild out,
We all do.
I had to find my own way, my own relationship with Christ. But it definitely is like the bedrock of every part of my life, every transition that I've been through, everything. Like, from the day I was born. Like, so this is a story. It's an exclusive, right? So people don't know this.
You heard it here first.
We'll put banners.
Right there, bro.
Exclusive.
That's that camera.
Banner.
But so my parents came in from Haiti, right? My mom had a couple miscarriages before she had me. I'm the firstborn out of like me and my brothers. And I was a big baby. I was 12 pounds. It was a hard pregnancy, all the things, C-section, but thank God came out healthy. My mom is healthy. But she tells me this story ever since I was born. The doctor takes me out, holds me up, and the doctor calls me Moses, right? The doctor says, this son of yours is gonna lead men one day. And my mom never lets me forget that. She doesn't even call me Greg, she calls me Moses, right? And I'm a firm believer that there's a power in name and a power in your words. And when I'm younger, when I'm going through things, I didn't really understand it. I probably ran away from it a lot because it felt like a lot of pressure. But that kind of faith and that kind of belief, and having that be instilled in you from when you're a child,
It comes back.
man, it comes back. And
Always.
it kind of guides your entire life. And you look back like, man, like,
Maybe this is.
maybe this is, or like,
You stop fighting it.
you stop fighting
and you start embracing it.
And you learn that, bro, none of us are here by ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the prayers of my mom, my dad, my family. Like, I avoided a lot of mess, bro. My life could have went a complete other direction. But because of the love and the prayer and the care of my family,
Right.
and the people around me, like, I'm here today.
Yeah.
Right?
I
And
relate to
you
that.
got to walk in that.
I relate to that so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, like there's things, sure, you can control and do.
Of course.
But, it truly is the blessing of God and the blessing of life and the blessing of people around you and prayer and everyone just, that opens doors for you.
Opens doors, man. It does, man. Firm believer in that. So faith is strong. Keep the faith alive, bro. Listen, like, you can't do anything without God. I don't know who's hearing this, but that is my truth. I think that is the truth. We can't control life. We don't know what's going to happen to us today or tomorrow. But if you have faith and like you said, what you say? You said treat people nice.
It's nice to be important.
But
it's important to be
It's more important to be nice. Exactly, man. Keep those things close to you and really believe those things, man, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, man. That's
Word.
real. That's deep. I think on that note, man, thank you for coming on. Plug yourself in, bro. Where can they find you? If you need a home, This is your man.
Thanks for having me, first of all. I really appreciate that. But if you want to find me, Gregory Senat on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to me on any of those platforms if you're interested in buying or purchasing a home or any type of property. I'd love to help you. Yeah, that's it, man. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed. Peace out, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Peace out, yo.